On September 29, 1938, Neville Chamberlain signed the Munich Agreement, a desperate attempt to avert war that ultimately proved diplomacy without credible enforcement often emboldens aggressors, setting the stage for the most volatile century in human history. Born into a world defined by imperial competition, the architects of 20th-century peace were forged in the fires of global conflict, often emerging from humble beginnings to navigate the complex geopolitical landscapes of the post-war era. These individuals pursued rigorous academic training in international law and political science, honing the analytical skills necessary to mediate between entrenched powers, long before they faced the high-stakes pressure of global summits. Their primary motivation was a profound rejection of the carnage witnessed in the trenches of the First World War, driving them to invent new institutional frameworks that could prioritize dialogue over the catastrophic deployment of heavy artillery. As the 20th century unfolded, the world fractured into ideological blocs, creating a precarious environment where the threat of nuclear annihilation necessitated a radical shift from secret, bilateral treaties toward transparent, multilateral diplomacy. Ralph Bunche, a pioneer in this field, rose through the ranks of the United Nations, utilizing his expertise to mediate the 1949 Arab-Israeli armistice, marking a pivotal moment where international mediation became a viable alternative to perpetual war. These peacemakers faced immense systemic barriers, including deep-seated ethnic hatreds, colonial legacies, and the rigid, uncompromising nature of Cold War superpowers, all of which threatened to derail any progress toward a lasting, stable international order. The geography of these conflicts spanned the globe, from the divided streets of Berlin and the trenches of the Balkans to the tense, sun-drenched Sinai Peninsula, requiring mediators to understand local nuances while managing global interests. By October 1962, the world stood at the precipice of nuclear destruction during the Cuban Missile Crisis, as Soviet nuclear deployments in the Caribbean forced an unprecedented, high-stakes standoff between the United States and the Soviet Union. During the 13 days of the Cuban Missile Crisis, secret back-channel diplomacy between Robert Kennedy and Anatoly Dobrynin proved essential, shifting the focus from military strikes to a naval quarantine that ultimately prevented a global nuclear exchange. In a display of immense courage, these diplomats navigated the ExComm meetings, balancing the intense pressure of military hawks against the necessity of avoiding a Third World War, eventually securing the quiet removal of missiles from both Cuba and Turkey. The human cost of these conflicts was staggering, with millions of lives lost and countless families displaced, forcing negotiators to confront the visceral reality that every failed diplomatic mission resulted in direct, measurable human suffering. Following these interventions, the immediate aftermath often involved the establishment of new peacekeeping protocols, such as the deployment of the UN's Blue Helmets, designed to serve as a neutral buffer between combatants in volatile regions. International recognition followed, with figures like Ralph Bunche receiving the Nobel Peace Prize, validating the concept that organized mediation could effectively mitigate the intensity of regional conflicts and prevent them from escalating into full-scale wars. The institutionalization of diplomacy fundamentally changed the course of the 20th century, shifting the global paradigm from the great power politics of the 19th century toward a rules-based system managed by the United Nations. Today, the legacy of these peacemakers remains visible in the Dayton model of power sharing, which, despite its current political gridlock, continues to serve as the primary template for post-conflict state-building in fractured nations worldwide. A fascinating, lesser-known fact is that the Moscow-Washington hotline, established in 1963, was a direct consequence of the Cuban Missile Crisis, designed specifically to prevent the catastrophic miscommunication that nearly ended civilization. The story of 20th-century diplomacy inspires because it demonstrates that even in the darkest hours of human history, committed individuals can build bridges across ideological divides, proving that peace is an active, ongoing, and deliberate process. The 1945 signing of the UN Charter in San Francisco established the essential framework for this modern international order, creating the first truly global forum where states could address grievances without resorting to immediate, large-scale military mobilization. The 1978 Camp David Accords, brokered by Jimmy Carter, remain a masterclass in proximity diplomacy, successfully bringing Anwar Sadat and Munich begin together to secure a historic peace treaty that fundamentally reshaped the strategic landscape of the Middle East. Operation Deliberate Force in 1995 served as a brutal but necessary catalyst for the Dayton Agreement, which finally ended the Bosnian War after the Srebrenica massacre forced the international community to move beyond mere observation to active enforcement. Finally, the 1998 Good Friday Agreement stands as a testament to the power of persistent, inclusive negotiation, successfully ending decades of sectarian violence in Northern Ireland and proving that long-standing historical grievances can be addressed through structured, democratic political compromise.